Artistic expression is the oldest and most widely pushed drug to the human psyche. In all of human history, whenever anyone wants to safely experience a genuine emotion within their own defined rule set, they need only turn to the arts, turn to entertainment. I can face the horrors of this world without shedding a single tear. But if I turn on my television and I watch a fictional elephant named Bing Bong that's part cotton candy sacrifice itself, I will bawl like a baby. And so it's no wonder that that theme is enticing. The idea of stealing something so strong, so powerful. And so we'll be taking a look at that today. But first, Alexa, please set the mood. Alexa. Stolen Paintings by Bruno Ferruti and published by Eagle-Gryphon Games makes you thief and investigator for a great crime against the arts. When it's your turn, you set up 24 artwork cards creating a gallery. Everyone memorizes as much as they can until the timer runs out. They then close their eyes. You remove between 1 and 3 cards, discard the rest, and then draw new cards to add to the ones you've removed. You create an auction with the new cards as well as the ones you stole. Everyone then must try to determine individually which cards at the auction were taken from the gallery. Points are awarded and the play goes to the left, giving everyone a chance to steal some paintings.
Stolen paintings is about...
Hey, you are supposed to be doing your calligraphy. Go on.
What's the calligraphy? What's calligraphy?
Stolen Paintings is plain and simple a memory game. And by that I mean it's very similar to the game Memory. You're shown a bunch of images and you're told to remember specific aspects of it and try to recall what things were there before. It's a pretty straightforward idea in terms of what could be classified as a party game, but it's a cool one. It's one that works very well with its theme. Now, the memory aspect isn't necessarily in and of itself bad. It's one of those kind of what you see is what you get ideas. It's implemented really well. The theme in this is cool. Everything about it works really well for that single mechanism. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that that single mechanism of memory is in and of itself bad, but as I mentioned in a more recent review as well, it's one that certain people will excel at, whereas other people will do poorly at. You can certainly adjust the difficulty of the game, but that's not going to change the fact that certain people's memories work better than others. And while that natural ability that some people have would be detrimental in a longer form game, the fact that Stolen Paintings is such a short game and such a simple idea, it's fine. And it's one that I am okay with. So yes, you can certainly scale the difficulty for everyone involved, but tailoring that to the individual person and coming up with sort of a handicap scale on how many cards you put out for which players seems like it would be overcomplicated and convoluted, and isn't anything that I would even remotely suggest. Instead, I would say that this game, while it is going to favor people that have a better memory, there's no reason in changing that because it's still a fun game all around. A sort of side note, this game is actually chock full of genuine artistic artifacts. Every single card in it is unique, and it's got a little number on the bottom, and in the game comes a little booklet that will tell you exactly who the artist is, when the painting was done, and what its title is. Essentially giving you an education in art history that far surpasses anything I took in college. And so if you're at all interested in the game school aspect of any of these things, well, guess what? This has memory and this has art history in spades. But my brief explanation of how to play the game is not far off on the entire rule book. There are variants, there's different methods of play, but essentially what I've said is how to play this game. And it's a very simple game in concept, and I do believe it's executed very, very well, and it's something that I really liked. And if I did have a big complaint about it, the only complaint that I could really come up with is that, as I said before, certain people will excel at it. It's a simple concept that certain people will dominate at. At the same time, I love it for the fact that it's a simple concept. But you're still thrown so much information. There's generally, in a usual game, there's 24 cards out, and in that short amount of time, you have to sit there and stare at it and try to figure out, okay, how is my mind going to organize all of this information in a short period of time so that I can remember what mnemonic devices can I come up with to take a look at this grid of 24 individual pieces of art so that I can remember 1, 2, or 3 out of a lineup of 8 cards. And that to me is where I really find the enjoyment in this game. It's not even the fact that it's memory. I mean, yeah, I could look at simplistic pictures in a memory game and try to remember, oh, exactly, where was one picture so I can find the matchup, like you do in those memory matching games. This, however, is very different in the fact that you have vibrant and detailed pieces of art in front of you, and you have to try to assign, well, at least for me, I'm sure everyone else's thought process when dealing with this is different, but for me, it's trying to figure out what pieces can I latch onto, what familiar aspects of a piece of art can I latch onto so that I could potentially remember it when it comes to the auction phase. And that to me is where the real enjoyment comes from. It's not necessarily the straight memory aspect. It's the idea that you have to not exactly remember the placement of a piece of art or remember the exact piece of art. It is what individual piece of a piece of art can I latch onto so that I could possibly remember it in the next round. I don't need to remember the whole painting. Maybe I need to remember the splash of red in the right corner. Maybe I need to remember the fact that this guy's on a horse that has 2 hoofs off the ground as opposed to a horse that has 3 hoofs off the ground. Are there pieces of art where a horse is only on 1 foot? And so that's really cool. Being the investigator is cool because you're stressed, you're forced to try to remember as much as possible. And on the flip side, when you're the thief, trying to identify which paintings might be the most difficult to pick out in a lineup. I mean, there are paintings that you will recognize in this game. And so you almost certainly don't want to pick those as the ones that you're going to steal if you think someone else would recognize it as well. The scoring's really simple, the idea is simple, and the execution is done really, really well. At lower player counts, it's this cool, quick memory aspect. At higher player counts, it's a pretty fun party game. And so my verdict is, I like it. Simple and elegant, and the kind of game that I really, really enjoy in terms of what it has to offer. And on top of that, it's just lathered with actual art history, which is kind of cool in and of itself. So there you have it, Stolen Paintings. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe. Feel free to follow me on my other accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok occasionally. I'm very active on Twitter, but you can find me at all of those locations at Plumpy Thimble. Love to interact with you there. Also, I'm kind of throwing this out there. This is sort of a new thing, but if you'd like to support me on Ko-fi, that is now available. I'll put a link in the description. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll be getting more videos out on a more regular basis as I'm starting to get more settled into my new home. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.